Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to VTM Coteries of New York. And in the last episode, we encountered the Malkavian known as Hope, and I will never look at chat room moderation the same way again, guys. But we were able to convince her that we are at least useful, so we'll probably have a secondary quest for her sometime soon. And now we need to choose between either Tamika or Agathon. But right now we need to rest, so let's see if anything else happens in the story. Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. Oh, I forgot what voice we used for Gregory. Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you. Any idea what she needs me for? I'm not in the position to ask. He smiles, politely. The car's waiting. Shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave. Disappear. Let Sophie find somebody else to employ. But then you remember the Anarch thug being cut down by Kadir and how close you were to the same fate not even a week ago. And that it might still happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked to one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it's been here before, but she's behaving as if she's seen it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance, which soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. You're here! Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. Her driver leaves, and she turns her attention to you. I hope you had a few good nights and made some new acquaintances, but I have to say, I'm happy to see you, Xavier. Thank you for coming. The change of the mood in the room is so sudden and startling, it makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being. I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue on the side of the apartment. You notice a plain-looking pen drive lying on the corner, right next to where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal. The man you'll be looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all around New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I'll need you to take this memory stick and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They're encrypted, a precaution if the data fell into the wrong hands. But it won't, yes? She gives you a smile that, just a handful of nights ago, would make you feel like melting. Oh, and Xavier, the Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted, deformed lineage of kindred. He is old, and his age made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tend to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I have gathered, him or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them somehow. I'm told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep your eyes open for it. That smile again, but much shorter. Anything more you can tell me about Kaiser? He's been here a long time, about as long as I have. He got into a lot of trouble for trading information to both the Anarchs and the Camarilla before, but ultimately got away with it scot-free. Kaiser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from the consequences of playing both sides. Some say it's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette, except his own. Good night, and good luck. She flashes one last smile at you and turns back to the painting, clearly done with the conversation. You pocket the memory stick and head out towards Coney Island. It takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds from the Coney Island amusement park from the city. The drive is almost pleasant at this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There's plenty of people here tonight, but nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor of secrets. Then again, if they did stand out, it would have been kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach. I seem to be wanting... Auspex is pretty handy in situations like this. So let's go ahead and open our senses. You take a moment to focus and try to pick up any details that would help you locating Kaiser. Initially, the noise of the nearby amusement park floods your mind and stuns you momentarily. A child's crying, the loud bang of a car door closing, the bright old-school logo of the Cyclone roller coaster, all overload your senses, and you have to lean on a nearby booth to stay upright. But you get it under control. You start walking, listening in, taking in the smells and sights, looking for something, anything, to point you in the right direction. A man talking on his phone, a snippet of the conversation. Cleaned the red stuff from the garage and tidied up in general. The limo fiddled for sure. Oh, come on, don't be like that, boss. I didn't mean to... Yes, I know. I am. It's a privilege, Mr. Kaiser. The call ends. The man tucks the phone away. It's a fancy model. Doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. And doesn't fit the guy's rugged looks at all. He notices you. Hey, what you looking at, huh? How do we want to go about this? Overheard your call just now. Any chance Mr. K stands for Kaiser? Nah, it stands for... Clearly, lying isn't his forte. Fuck off. Neither are comebacks, it would seem. Listen, I was sent here by Sophie Langley. She has something for Kaiser, and I need to contact him and pass it on. Nothing more to it. Don't know her. And I told you already, I don't know who Kaiser is either. He sees the doubt in your face. Fuck it. Stay right there. He produces his phone. It's a fancy model, and it doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. Unlocks it, picks a number. 2 tones go by. A voice on the other side. Yeah, sorry to bother you again, boss. Yeah, I know how much you need your alone time. That sounds very nice. There's somebody here who wants to see you? They're with Langley? Sophie Langley, yeah. A string of loud obscenities fill the phone. The man winces and pushes it away from his ear, and then the call stops. Almost immediately, a chime. The Count's laugh from Sesame Street? Wow. Announces an instant message sent to the phone. He's, on his way. Don't go anywhere. The inside of the limo used to be a luxury lounge, the kind with a stripper pole and a bar full of alcohol, but it has none of that currently. Instead, there are monitors and consoles. Dozens of displays, each one showing something different. Surveillance camera footage, stock market quotes, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of gory torture sessions. You wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything when surrounded by all of this visual noise, and then realize there's nobody there. Or is there? He blinks into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. You're 100% sure that's Kaiser. Surrounded by dimmed computer screen lights, his features are even more ghastly than you imagined. All sharp angles of twisted bone, severed flesh, and crooked teeth. He bears them in an awful parody of a smile. The doors close behind you.
So, how's a waste of good vitae outside tells me Sophie Langley sent you, You've got something for me?
You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to Kaiser. He plugs it into a USB port in the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of the screens that happen to be turned away from you. It takes him about a minute to access the data.
Who do you people think I am? I've seen this footage a week ago.
He plugs the pen drive out and throws it back at you in disgust.
Tell Sophie the deal's off. She wants her address. She gives me something else.
Ooh, I don't think using presents against him would be a good idea. Now, Sophie said this guy was all about etiquette, so... I'm sorry this proved disappointing to you, Mr. Kaiser. Can I do something to make it up to you? He seems genuinely impressed.
Now that's what I like to hear. Yeah, I was just about to mention it, in fact. I have something in mind. We'll talk again soon. You do that for me, and the address is yours. Now, would you be so kind as to get the fuck out of my car?
You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out, close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide by you, and soon the limo is on its way out. Kaiser's lackey is nowhere to be seen, so you make your way to your car and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. Oh, there's hope. So now we need to decide how we're going to go about recruiting the other two members. And the question is, which one do we go to? Do we save the Tremere for last, or do we check out the Gangrels? Let's go ahead and roll a die. Evens, Tremere, odds, Gangrel. 5. Okie dokie. Sophie mentioned a Gangrel neonate by the name of Tamika, who's made herself a haven in Prospect Park. The Farrells aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standards. But if you can keep her from clawing your eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you. You make your way through the Grand Army Plaza, passing the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arch. You can't help but feel a tinge of nostalgia as you picture the place as you've seen it countless times. In broad daylight, teeming with life. You quickly get over it and pass through the Northwest Gate, into Prospect Park. The park is its usual maze of unkempt foliage and dimly lit alleys. Silence hangs in the air, as it would this time of night, and there doesn't appear to be any sign of kindred presence. You start to suspect Langley's sources fed her a bunch of bullshit, but you're not willing to give up just yet. You take a deep breath. Your nostrils fill with the scent of dead leaves and something else. A faint whiff of copper. Too subtle for a human to notice, but your newfound kindred intuition tells you that you're in the right spot. Yeah, these are Tamika's hunting grounds, all right. It's more than a hunch. You can feel it in your veins. Now it's only a matter of finding her. Unless, of course, she finds you first. As you ponder your options, you hear footsteps coming from behind a line of trees. Quick, but evenly paced. Most likely a late-night jogger. No vampire would take kindly to you feeding in their domain, but then again, perhaps you could kill two birds with one stone. Oh, no. No. It's the last thing you want to do. Like, feeding opportunities in other people's territory, especially Gangrel territory, that's a recipe for disaster. So let's just use our aspects. The world opens up around you like a blood-scented flower. A myriad of smells and sounds pound your senses like a battering ram. You focus, trying to drown out the noise and isolate any trace of your quarry. And there it is. A rustling of leaves, no farther than 100 yards to the south. Too big for an animal, and too quiet and meticulous for a human. You follow the sound, careful not to make a spectacle of yourself. Even at this heightened state, tracking one of the outcasts seems like a tricky matter. From what you can tell about them, the hunter is never more than a few steps from becoming the hunted. All of a sudden, the rustling stops. The world goes eerily silent. By the time you realize something is wrong, it's already too late. Hunter, hunted. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Driven by sheer instinct, you lean back just as 5 finger-shaped razors cut through the darkness, missing your face by an inch. A clawed shadow jumps back a few paces, preparing to correct its mistake. You catch a glimpse of the assailant. Looks pretty animalistic, all right, but he's not the one you're looking for. For starters, it's a he. Just as he's about to lunge at you, a snarl resounds from the bushes nearby, stopping your foe in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerges a young woman, baring her teeth ever so slightly. She walks over calmly, her eyes fixed on your assailant. Her presence is enough to make him reconsider attacking you, but not to withdraw completely. He glances over to her, puffing up his chest.
Stay out of it, Tam. I smelled him first.
I don't know, maybe we need to give a different view.
Stay out of it, Tam. I smelled him first.
Tam, how about that? She raises an eyebrow, but remains silent. Her compatriot turns back towards you.
You shouldn't have come here, pretty boy. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad you'll be wearing your tongue as a fucking necktie.
Tamika looks at you, expectantly. Oh man, how do we... How would Xavier do this? Now, if there's anyone that we're probably not going to get, it's probably the Gangrel. Thing about it is, if we don't stand up for ourselves, though, that could be a problem. Let's take the respectful approach. This is probably the wrong call, and I apologize if you guys were expecting a Gangrel to join us, but let's see. Easy there, big shot. You made your point, okay? Confirmed badass. I'm not looking for a fight. Tamika tilts her head in a way that's barely noticeable, and yet strangely expressive. She seems disappointed. The man loosens up, his lips twisting into a wry smile. Clearly, you just gave him the confidence boost he needed.
Figures. You got that look about you. All style, no substance. Don't even have to smell you. I know a sissy when I see one.
Well, guess what? You ain't getting off that easy, chicken shit. A fierce growl echoes across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her fangs glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear, as if she was scolding a puppy. She leans over and speaks in a voice that's firm, yet oddly affectionate.
It's okay, Declan. I'll handle it from here.
The male Gangrel looks at her with a mix of timidness and resentment. Then he turns back towards you.
Fine. They're not worth the effort anyway.
Having said his piece, Ral retreats into the shadows, although if you were to guess, he's likely to stay within earshot. With her companion gone, Tamika turns to you once more. What do you want? Short story? I'm new here. I'm looking for a chance to leave my mark. Maybe shake things up a bit in the process. I could use your help. Why me? Yeah. My sources claim you're capable. Are they wrong? No, I guess not. But if you're so well informed, you should know that I don't whore myself out for mercenary work. Now, sorry about that. This is different. I'm not hiring? Say this is different? This is different. I don't think I have the kind of money that could persuade you. All I have to offer is my help, and someday maybe my friendship. Do I strike you as someone who needs a friend? Oh yeah, we probably don't need to bring up the sire. Man, we have to be really careful about this. Let's try this one. You strike me as someone looking for a way out. Out of this park, for starters. Is that why you're here? To break me out? Are you my ticket out of here? Look, I'm not stupid. I know you can leave any time, with or without me. I'm just asking for a couple of nights of your time. So what's it gonna be? For a brief moment, she stands there, motionless, looking straight into your eyes, as if trying to size you up. Finally, she looks away. It looks like she's come to a decision. Just so we're clear, I don't trust you. I have no reason to. Frankly, you sound more lost than I am. Still, there's something about you. Most kindred who are this pretty tend to hide rot underneath, but I don't smell it on you. So, I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. I have some outstanding business to take care of. I'll let you know once that's done. Meet me here and we'll see what you're really made of. And with that, Tamika disappears into the night. That went pretty well, all things considered. Okay, that's good. That was one of those situations where we couldn't... There was politicking, but it was more of a respectful, honesty. Because Gangrel can smell like insincerity from a mile away. It's one of the reasons they're not really kind of aligned with the Camarilla in this version. But they had always, even from 3rd edition on, there had always been that tension. Well, we can't go and talk to any of the others right now. Let's go ahead and rest. You're walking down the street towards your haven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In NYC, there are plenty of passerby going on about their business. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by a crowd of humans. The kindred have many enemies, and all those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible, indistinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. Is that old man just a tired restaurant worker, or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car ordinary cops, or Second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you. And it's not the first time you felt like this. Following the queue of so many mortals around you, you stop at a little street corner to casually survey your surroundings, as if you were trying to remember which turn to take. You look around at street signs, but in reality, to see if someone really is following you. Down the street where you came from, a crowd of young drunk men argue loudly about baseball. There's an indistinct figure standing behind them, almost impossible to notice. A young woman, probably. The men unconsciously move around her as they start to walk away, still mouthing off at each other. Whatever this is, it's probably something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is tailing you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed. Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon and you'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. As you wake from your slumber and emerge from the haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner and looking straight at you. It's Kaiser's lackey, whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach. His hands are out of his pockets, and he seems pretty relaxed. He's keeping his eyes on the street, though, as if making sure you're alone. He smiles awkwardly when you approach. "Evening. Gotten something for you from our mutual friend." He produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. "Read it, memorize it, then give it back here." It's a letter. The paper might just be a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. It reads, "Time to square the debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street and ask for the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro. When they tell you that they don't have it, say you are a fedele servitore della famiglia." Apologies for butchering this Italian. Famiglia G. Those exact fucking words. And make sure you get the G right. You'll get a bottle. Just take it and leave by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else. Just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie Boy here and let him know. You done? Memorize that shit and hand it over. Didn't peg your boss for a letter kind of guy. Isn't electronic communication his whole shtick? Yeah, well, some things are better done the old-fashioned way. You about done with the letter? You note the phrases mentioned in the letter and the address, then hand the letter back to Jackie. He immediately reaches for a lighter and burns it, putting out the ashes with his boot. So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, come back here so I can tell you where to go next. I'll be in that alley over there, so find me when you have the item, whatever it is. I don't know, and the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya. He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead in the letter. Time to pay a visit to Nolita. You arrive at the address mentioned in the note. Not counting the local restaurant patrons, the street is mostly empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a A small middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of an entire wall of wine bottles. There's a door at the end of the room, with a small table and a chair occupied by a man with a slick, combed-back hair who's dressed in a black faux leather jacket. He's reading a newspaper, but pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. He takes a sip from a small, steaming cup and gets back to his broadsheet. Good evening. How can I help? Let's go ahead and be direct here. I'd like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro, please. Let me check our stock. She seems to be looking through the database on the laptop sitting on the counter. She puts on a polite smile. I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment. I'm sorry. I'm a fedele servitor della famiglia G. Oh. In that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Just wait here, please. The woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. The man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, washing it down with a gulp of water from the nearby glass. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes. Let's see if we can be casual here. Mind if I borrow your newspaper? The man takes out a pen and ostentatiously begins solving a Sudoku puzzle, his eyes darting to you every so often. The doors to the back of the store open, and the proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled, squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologizing smile. Excuse me. Sorry for taking so long. Turns out we did have it. She offers you the bottle and you reach out to grab it, but she retracts it. You do know what this is, don't you? Ooh, wait, they said that we needed to say... Hold on, let's double check. I'm trying to... What was the... You'll get a bottle, just take it and leave by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else, just walk out. Should we go ahead and use presents? Because thank you is part of that. I'm gonna try. You focus your blood and immediately see both the people in the shop focus intently on you and what you're about to say. Ah, crap. I know exactly what this is, and I'm the right person to give it to. The woman gives you the bottle without hesitation. Grazie. Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, then take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave Nolita and drive back to your apartment. It takes you some time to find a parking spot, but finally, you get out of the car and start looking for Jackie. He's not far from where you parted ways just under 2 hours ago. Got the goods? I sure do. Cool. Stand by. Gotta make the call. He takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings and takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carry the last time. Hey, boss. Yeah, they have it. Where do I point them to? Okay. Yeah, I'll tell them to go there right away. He puts the phone back inside his pocket and turns back to you. Willets Point. Half an hour, so you better step on it. See you around. With just a flippant salute, Jackie starts walking down the street. You make your way back to the car and drive. Alright, guys. Well, it looks like we went from downtown and a wine shop to somewhere a little bit rougher. And I don't know if using presents there was the right thing to do, just because the guy reading the paper noticed what we were about to say. But we did say grazie, which is exactly... We tried to follow those instructions to the letter. But I guess we'll see where the story goes from here in the next episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And we did get a new Gangrel friend, so we'll see if we'll be able to finish all of those subquests, and we still have a Tremere to talk to as well. But if you guys liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.